Story of Matsya Avatar. In Hindu mythology, there are four eras or yugas. First, Satya Yuga. Second, Treta Yuga. Third, Dwapara Yuga. And fourth, Kali Yuga. Each yuga is supposed to be equivalent to one day for Lord Brahma. Accordingly, one day of Lord Brahma is 4,320 million human years. After the end of every yuga, Lord Brahma goes to sleep. The power of Lord Brahma's creation comes from the Vedas. When Lord Brahma sleeps, there is no creation and the universe comes to an end. Lord Vishnu is the god of preservation. Whenever the earth was in danger and when evil threatens to overpower good, Lord Vishnu descends from the heaven to incarnate on the earth. There are 10 incarnations of Lord Vishnu. The first avatar of Lord Vishnu is called as Matsya Avatar. Matsya means fish. Main objective of Matsya Avatar is two. First, to save the earth by creating new civilization through his devotee Manu. Second, to save 4 Vedas from the demon Hayagriva. Now let us see the story. In the Satya Yuga, there was a Dravidian king by name Satyavrata and later known as Manu. He was a staunch devotee of Lord Vishnu. His greatest desire was to see Lord Vishnu with his own eyes. For this, he performed severe penances for thousands of years. The Satya Yuga was about to end, and a great flood was to come and destroy all the life on earth to start afresh for the next Yuga. Lord Brahma, after a day full of creation, was tired. He wanted to go to sleep and was soon snoring loudly. While Brahma was sleeping, a horse-headed Asura, Hayagriva. This Asura is different from Lord Hayagriva, an avatar of Lord Vishnu, symbolizing knowledge and wisdom, emerged from Brahma's nose. With Brahma asleep, Hayagriva realized that it was the right time to take in all the knowledge of the Vedas. Hayagriva concentrated and soon absorbed the knowledge in the Vedas. He then went and hid himself with 4 Vedas deep inside the ocean, thinking that nobody would find him there. Lord Vishnu saw this and was worried. If the Vedas were stolen by the Asura, the knowledge of Vedas could not be passed on to the next Yuga. As a preserver, it was his job to make sure the knowledge survived to the next Yuga. Wondering what to do, Lord Vishnu looked at Manu performing penance. Lord Vishnu, realizing that he could complete quite a lot than just save the Vedas. The next morning, Manu went to the river to begin his prayers. He took the water in his hands and held it high above his head and offered to Lord Vishnu to mark the beginning of this prayer. He was about to pour the water into the river. He heard a tiny voice from his hands. "O great king, please do not put me back in the river." Surprised Manu stared at his hands. In the palms of his hands was a tiny fish squirming. The fish looked at Manu, pleading, "Please do not put me back in the water. There are so many bigger fishes in the water. They will eat me. Please, O great king." Manu looked at tiny fish with pity. As a king, it was his duty to protect anybody who came to him for help. The king readily agreed and put the fish inside his kamandalam, a small jug carried by rishis in those days to carry water. Manu finished his penance and went home for the night. He had left the fish inside the kamandalam, knowing that the fish would be safe inside. He woke up next morning hearing a strong voice. "O king, help me. Your kamandalam is stifling me. I cannot breathe here." Surprised Manu looked at his kamandalam only to find a big fish staring at him from the top of the kamandalam. The fish was pushing the sides of the jug. As the jug was too small for it, Overcoming his surprise, Manu ran inside his house to get a bigger vessel. The fish gulped few breaths and said softly, "Thank you, King Manu." Manu smiled and was about to walk out the home, begin his morning prayers, when he heard an even more powerful voice, "King, this vessel is too small for me. Please get me another one." Manu blankly stared. As the fish stared out of the vessel, he had got just milk bags. The fish was again struggling for breath. Manu brought the biggest vessel in his house and threw the fish inside it. The fish thanked him, and after checking that the vessel was big enough for the fish, still puzzled, was about to walk out of the house, when he heard a strong voice, "I am sorry, this vessel is also not sufficient for me, King." Manu stared in disbelief. He saw the huge fish stare out of the big vessel. However, realizing that this was not the time for questions, he carried the fish and ran to the river, where he had found the fish and threw the fish inside. The fish gulped a few breaths inside the water. "Thank you, King. You have protected me. But please don't leave me here. I am afraid the other bigger fishes may eat me." Manu began to get suspicious, but he was a king. He could not just stop protecting someone who had come to him for help. He stared at the fish for long, and before his eyes saw the fish getting larger and larger, till it had covered up the entire river. The same routine followed again. Manu carried the fish from one river to another river, but the fish kept getting bigger. Finally, he dropped the fish inside the ocean, only to find that the fish grown to full one size of the ocean. Looking at gigantic fish, a sudden flash came to Manu. He bowed before the fish. "Narayana, you are Narayana, my lord." The fish smiled. You wanted to see me, and here I have come." Manu stared with tears in his eyes as a huge horn grew on the head of the fish. "My lord, you have granted me my only desire. I want nothing more. What do you want me to do now?" Manu said, prostrating before the fish. "Manu, the Yuga is about to end in 7 days. There will be a great flood, and all living things on the earth would perish. I want you to build a big ship. Take the seeds of all plants, the male and female of every animal, and the 7 sages along with their families. Take them all on the ship." Manu nodded. The fish continued, "Don't forget to bring Vasuki, the snake god, also." Manu nodded again as he watched the fish steer through the ocean to the other side. One half of the fish's work completed, the fish went to the other side to complete the other reason for the incarnation. On the other end of the ocean, the fish saw Hayagriva guarding the Vedas. Seeing the huge fish, Hayagriva was terrified. What a huge fish! However, no sooner than he had thought this, the fish attacked him. The fish was so huge that a single push sent the Asura reeling. Still dazed, Hayagriva tried fighting the fish, but the fish was huge and powerful. After a brief and futile struggle, the Asura was dead. Once the Asura was dead, the Vedas, imbibed by him, went back to Lord Brahma, who was still asleep. On the other side of the ocean, Manu was building his ship. He had also brought the 7 sages with their families. Soon there were torrential rains which washed away everything. The water level kept increasing, and very soon there was a flood. The ship wobbled and many times was about to capsize, but Manu and that others were steadfast in their belief that Lord Vishnu would protect them. Soon the fish came as promised. Manu used Vasuki as a rope to tie my horn to the ship. It bellowed loudly above the roar of the rain. Once the fish was tied to the ship, the fish guided the ship in sea and kept the ship safe while storm raged outside. The fish taught the Vedas to Manu and the others during the voyage. After the storm abated and everything was washed away, the fish deposited the ship at Mount Himalaya for the people there to continue new yuga and human civilization again. All the seeds gathered in the ship were thrown on the earth. All the representatives of different animal species started procreating once again. Manu performed a huge yajna. In the blessings of the gods, a beautiful damsel named Ida appeared from the fire and married Manu. Both of them gave rise to the human race once again. An interesting interpretation in Puranas is that as a large fish, Mahamatsya, glides between both banks, the right and the left one, signifies a human being both boundaries, the boundary of dream and the boundary of waking state. What does it mean? We should balance our life between reality and dream. We should not live the life as it is without proper plan or dreams. Dreams meaning our aim, goal. As told by the great scientist and the thinker Abdul Kalam, we should dream, and the dream only can motivate and lead the life in a positive direction towards achievement or attainment. But do not get into excessive or unrealistic dreams or plans which could ruin the progress in our life. So, a proper balancing is required, which symbolically stated as both the boundaries of the river. If we balance both systematically, our travel in the river between the banks will be smooth. There are very few temples dedicated to Matsya. Prominent ones include, first, the Shankodaya temple in Nagalapuram, Andhra Pradesh. Second, Matsya Narayana temple, Bangalore. Interestingly, one Buddhist temple in South Korea called the Jogyesha has colorful Matsya relics. What we came to understand from this avatar story? First, Lord Vishnu, upon realizing end of the yuga, he wanted to save the earth and hence take the avatar. Likewise, Baba is watching all of us and will take protective action whenever the existence is in danger. Let us follow Baba, our Savior, very sincerely. Second, Lord Vishnu listened to the prayers of Manu, his devotee, and saved him from delusion and made him as a starting point to form the new civilization. Likewise, Baba will always save his devotees and bring glory to him. Let us show our pure devotion to Baba. Lord Vishnu saved 4 Vedas from Hayagriva, as he is aware that the Vedas are important for the existence of the earth. Likewise, Baba knows what is important to his devotees and will always protect and take care of their needs by keeping them under his lotus feet. Lord Vishnu tied the tiny ship carrying Manu, Saptarishis, etc. to the horn of the Matsya using the serpent Vasuki as rope. God saved the earth by creating new civilization. Here, the noteworthy point is that Lord Vishnu can be related to our lovely Baba. Vasuki, Lord Vishnu's stool, is like Baba's stool, Satcharitra. Ship is carrying Manu and other rishis who are all Lord Vishnu's devotees. The implied truth is that let us strongly hold the Satcharitra through which Baba will save us. There are all few understandings from the Matsya story. Let us read Satcharitra regularly and lead our life with pure devotion towards Baba. He will answer all our prayers, protect us from evils, and provide us whatever required to lead peaceful life. Jai Sai Ram.